What's up, B's and G's? I inadvertently hit record when I started setting the camera onto the tripod, and then turned it off for a minute. Thought I heard it, turned it back on, started quackity quack quack quack, and then now just realized about 5 minutes after I was chatting away, I was only 9 seconds in. So I had to hit record again. So I'm going to do my level best to quackity quack all over again. Now, I cracked the bottle already. I poured it into my glass, so unfortunately you don't get to see the pour. It was murky when it was coming out of the bottle. I poured the bottom of the bottle in, you know, as we saw with Larry's, all the chocolatey goodness is in the bottom. So in it went. This is an oak-aged vanilla and chocolate bochet. Let me read you what Steve is saying. So the fall of 2014 harvest of Texas wildflower honey had a slight caramel taste, which brought to mind a bochet. So the honey was cooked and boiled for an hour to bring this flavor out even more. After initial fermentation, roasted cacao nibs were added, along with toasted Hungarian oak and Madagascar vanilla beans, or Madagascan vanilla beans. It's 10.9%. He started it in September of 2015, bottled it in May of this year. So I've decided to use the same inappropriate barware all the way through these reviews. I started with a bad glass, or the glass that probably I shouldn't be using for meads, and decided I'm going to do it for all of them. So straight through, everybody gets the same glass. At least we've got some baseline for that. So this pour was a little murky, like I said when it came out. You can see here it's definite chocolatey, super chocolatey brown. The nose is totally chocolate. I get a lot of deep, kind of dark chocolate. It's not a milky chocolate so much as it's a darker chocolate, kind of in that like 70-60 cacao range, kind of border between super special dark baking chocolate and then like some milk chocolate. It's got, I'm not picking up as much of the vanilla. There's a nice round tone in the background, which I think might be some of that vanilla. I apologize. Because you know, clicked on this video to watch somebody sniff a glass. It smells super, super good. I actually get a little bit of an alcohol note on the nose on this one. I mean, at 10% I should get something. So I'm gonna jump in and see what we get. Cheers. Wow. Super chocolate. Super duper chocolate. It's an absolutely, it's interesting. It starts with chocolate. It starts with a decent punch of chocolate, and then just kind of gets more and more sweet and chocolatey as you finish the sip. Wow. Hold on. It's I wonder if it's the oak and the alcohol kind of playing together, but there's a definite kind of bourbon quality to this, actually. Kind of almost a it borders on like a bourbon aged stout. Porter, actually, more so. A little bit thinner. It's really interesting how that's playing. It's definitely is playing a lot more like liquor than it is playing like anything else. Well, I'm going to pause this for a minute, and this time I'm going to make sure that I start the record again. So hold on a second. Okay, sorry if that jumped side to side. Yeah, the more I'm letting this like kind of warm up and sit around, the more I'm getting this playing like a bourbon, like a absolutely bourbon-esque, and I think it's the oak and the kind of the fact that you caramelized this. You know, you made it a bochet. My bocets are a lot lighter. You definitely go to town with yours as far as cooking the honey, as you know, caramelizing it. I let mine get to foam, and once it starts to foam, I give it like maybe a minute, maybe two, and then pull it. I don't want it to catch, and I've had issues with that sort of process and things catching, so I think that's why mine are lighter, and this is definitely much darker as far as a bochet goes. I kind of wish that mine cooked a little bit longer to add a little bit more depth of flavor, because this is really, the body and the base on this is a lot nicer, I think, than mine was, as far as caramel, like the caramel kind of burned sugar flavor. The chocolate, like I said, if I took a sip and said that before, the chocolate is definitely not super bitter. It's a much smoother chocolate flavor, and I think that probably there's a lot of roasting going on in this. I mean, you're cooking the honey, you're roasting the cacao nibs. I feel like there's a lot more ability to create deeper and darker flavor. I mean, you're adding vanilla beans, which on their own are going to get a little bit of a treatment, and the oak too. There's a lot of ways to drop this flavor down, especially using a honey like Wildflower. To me, I don't get a floral nose on this at all. I think with like Larry's, I get a lot of iris and like a lot of flower, and with this, I'm getting a lot more caramelization, and I'm not going to use the word burned because it's not that. It's dark flavors. Beautiful freaking nose. A lot of heat. I mean, I'm getting a lot of booze on the nose of this. It's absolutely stunning. 10.09 to me does not. This feels like a lot bigger of a mead. Super sweet, super chocolatey. The chocolate just goes from the beginning of the sip to the end. I'm getting vanilla as this warms up. I think it is like that kind of when you strip a vanilla pod, there's that oiliness, and I'm getting that on my tongue. I'm kind of getting that when you scrape the pod. I am getting that that seed, that oily inside of the pod when I taste. I am getting it now. It's not vanilla extract. It's a proper vanilla pod, vanilla seed that I'm getting out of this, and it's the rounding part of the tip of your tongue. It rounds it right before it finishes to more chocolate. If I can explain it. It's chocolate, vanilla right there, and as you breathe out, at the end there's just a little bit more alcohol and more chocolate, and it is very different chocolate. It's I think I said it before, I forget where, but it's the chocolate, the dust on baking chocolate, like the whatever that fine chocolate powder. That's kind of what I'm getting on the end of this, and it's very hard for me to explain. If I had a piece of chocolate, I'd show you what I'm talking about, but I can't. It's a beautiful mead. I absolutely love the chocolate in this, and I like that vanilla. That's a really nice touch. I don't get the oak as much. Maybe the oak is a little bit of a way that's kind of dropping this flavor, but I don't get oakiness out of this. And this just tastes, like I said before, a lot more like a bourbon stout or a porter than... Yeah, it tastes like a bourbon porter, actually, than chocolate bourbon porter. Weird. But really fucking strong. It's a beautiful mead. I like this a lot. Okay, I'm going to go and grade this, judge this, put it in the system, and I'm going to sip on this while I finish and do that. So, thank you, Steve. Thank you for setting this whole challenge up. It was a freaking blast. I'm totally excited to be in it, and like I said, I'm down next year, so as soon as you get the idea for next year, I'm in. So I appreciate you letting me in and letting me play. Cheers to everybody in here. You rock. This was awesome. Peace.
The fuck you talking about?